Hello again. I'm going to just carry on literally where I was like 5 seconds ago in the little tech tinkering update video. What I've got is I've taken the side off the new PC. So I'm going to show you guys my build. So this is an Asus ROG Strix motherboard. It's hosting an AM4 socketed Ryzen something 3600X, but the machine is built with a 3950X in mind, so that's for next year. But the build I've gone with is, you know, high quality. So I've cable managed everything. This is RGB RAM, so 64 gigabytes of RAM. We've got so this is Corsair Vengence RGP. Then we've got a Corsair H150i Pro cooler. So this is an all-in-one cooler. You can see it does fit in the case. The case is a Corsair 750D airflow edition. So there are two fans here pulling air in across, and there's one fan venting out the back. This machine makes no noise whatsoever. It's silent. The noise, if you can hear any noise of machines, it's literally the GitHub server under the desk. Onboard storage. See, actually, there you go. The graphics card fans are actually off. So we've got one NVMe fitted under there. We've got space for another here, which I'm going to fit later. There's an SSD in the back down there, and there's two 4TB drives here. Now these only connect to my Linux machine. When it's booted into Linux, they're the only things that mount into Linux. So the storage for Windows is literally just the SSD. There's nothing else for Windows to use. I'm going to use it for maybe 1 or 2 games, and that's it. It's just in case someone wants to boot into Windows. But you can see that the large AIO fits in this case, no problem. It does take up the upper slot, but I'm not going to use it. There are no optical drives in the case. It's a nice clean case, and you've seen that I have the windowed size on it. Power supply, I've gone with HX1000, so Corsair again. So we've got Corsair RAM, Corsair cooler, Corsair case, Corsair power supply. Yeah, there's a lot of Corsair here. It's so Asus as well. So it's an Asus motherboard because the last Asus motherboard has performed so well. Prior to this, I was very much a Cool Master case kind of guy. I really was. But I'm really taken with the modular design of the Obsidian case. That's actually come loose. So this is the only uncable managed cable. You see all the rest go straight out the back. It's a little bit of a mess down here, but there's not a lot I can do about some of this. Here's the cable. There's the cable ties come off. So this was cable tied down. It's come up. But whatever. That's the new build. Anybody out there, there's a thermal induction thing on the motherboard, and I've looked and I can't find any documented place to put this. Should it be down here? Should it be up there? Where should you put the thermal induction temperature thing? Anyway, comments below. The graphics card is my existing graphics card. It's the EVGA GeForce 1080 GTX superclocked. Which is, you know, really a nice card. I don't see any need to upgrade yet, not for my purposes. But yeah, we've got more storage space. So with 4TB drives here, I've got another one to go in from the old workstation. That will be 3. In fact, that one might stay as Windows. These two will go to Linux. They will go. Then that one will go to Linux. These are actually labelled Repo Norton 1 in my machines as they were. All the other drives, I'm not bringing them in here. I'm not polluting this with older broken drives. They're going to stay as they were. So, yeah, the server will become the main source of storage. Hence the need to fix this problem here. And that's a quick tour of my new machine. There's not a lot else to tell you. I was hoping, quite honestly, to give you all build videos and all that kind of stuff, but there's so many other people done it so much better than I could. This was a really easy build. I built it in the case. I don't truck with building outside the case unless you really have to. If you're not sure of the parts, if you're not sure of what you're up to, fine, build it outside the case. The only thing I did outside the case was put the processor in the motherboard, because it let me see it and access it easily. But then the whole thing was put in there. The cooler was put in. I had to take the rear fan off, obviously, to get things in easily. So rear fan off, drive cages out, motherboard in, power supply in, basic cabling in, cooler at the top in, fan at the back in, graphics card back in, voila, done. I mean, it's so simple. The NVMe, the screw on the NVMe is a little bit of a fudge, a little bit of fiddle, but no big deal. Other than that, it was just cable managing everything out the back of the board and making sure it's out of sight, really. So when I don't see it, you can't see this down here because the window runs, you know, this level above. You can get a deck, a hard deck mod, which might be worth it eventually, but I don't know if I want to lift these into view. I'd have to put that cage there, and I don't really want it there. I want it up there. You can also get a vertical mount for the graphics card, so it comes out and faces you, but you know, it's just white. The graphics card is just white. There's no, I don't put it in any other mode. I might make the whole thing a blue, fix the colours at blue because I like blue, but other than that, easy build, really performant, really performant. So building boost used to be about, let's say, 5 minutes. It's down to less than a minute now. And that's the same number of cores, remember. I've gone from 6 cores 12 threads to 6 cores 12 threads for this machine. It's just the amount of memory, the speed of the memory, the speed of the storage especially has made builds incredibly faster. I think anybody out there building software today needs to be aware of how fast NVMe makes things. It's almost precognizant as to how fast it wants to be. And you know, even Visual Studio, which I have installed on Windows, it builds so much quicker on an NVMe, even compared to a Samsung Evo SSD. So yeah, NVMe all the way for me. Other than that, I can see another cable tie has come loose up there, but whatever. That's the new build. I shall leave you all there. Yeah, and it's absolutely silent. You know, it literally silent.